Okay, boys, here we come with the diversity of the living organism in the last portion of it to be called as the misuse of biology. Okay, now how is biology misused? We'll try to understand. Like for example, if you visit a hospital, what do you see in the board? It is clearly written, sex determination not done here. Then what does that mean is basically, it means actually amniocentesis. Okay, it means amniocentesis. Here what happens is the sex of the fetus, that is a very young child, when it is inside the mother's womb, the sex is determined. And if it is a female child, a girl child, then they are aborted. Because of that, a child before being born are killed. Okay, so how does they do that is, if you see a mother, okay, that is, if you see a pregnant lady, something like this, yeah, may look something like this. Here, if this is the womb of the mother, if this is the womb of the mother, here itself the fetus, if this is the fetus is surrounded by, this is, I write child C, okay. Now this particular sac is known as the amniotic sac, I write AS, and this is the child. Now there is a fluid in between the amniotic sac and the child, and that is known as the amniotic fluid. I write it AF here as the amniotic fluid, and with the help of an injection, a small amount of the fluid is extracted from here, with which the sex of the fetus can be determined at a very early age of 18 to 20 weeks of pregnancy. And if it is a female child, especially in India, they don't want a female child because they think it is a burden to the family. They marry and go off, therefore they abort them. Okay. Now another one is bioweapons. Now what is bioweapon is biological warfare. You may have heard about it. The pandemic which is taking place, some say that it has been created by China. Some believe it that way. Some believe it broke out from China. And whatever it may be, it has crushed the economy of the world. That can be taken as a bioweapon. Apart from that, anthrax is the other one. Or to tell you in a very simple form, what happened in the olden days, the Greeks and the Romans were fighting with one another, and they found the Romans were heavy on the Greeks. So what did they do was, they slaughtered one buffalo and put it in the well from where the Romans were drinking the water. Then what happened after some time, because in olden days the war used to take place only during the daytime, not during the night, right? So the Roman soldiers kept on drinking water from that same well from where the buffalo was slaughtered and put. After a few days, the buffalo started to rot, and the Roman soldiers became ill, and the Greeks won the battle that way. So that is basically called the biological weapon or bioweapons. Okay, then they can be bacteria, viruses created to destroy another nation without using artillery, without using gunpowder. They can use insects or even viruses to destroy another nation. That is known as biological weapons or bioweapons. Now we move on to the last portion of the chapter to be called as biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the sum total of all the living organisms. What? Sum total of all the living organisms present in a particular area. Okay, it may be world, or it may be India, or it may be any other country for that instance. So the biodiversity then are basically of three types to be called as genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Now what is genetic diversity? Genetic diversity is the differences that is present amongst, it refers to the variation of the genes within the species. What does it say? The variation of the genes within the species is known as genetic diversity. That is, I have a different genetic setup, you have a different genetic setup, and that makes up the genetic diversity within the population. Next is species diversity. That is, what it says is the species diversity refers to the variety of species within the region. So in one particular region, say for example Kalimpong, okay, Kalimpong may have different types of species. Like, it does not only have human beings, it has monkeys also. Yes, apart from the monkeys, there are cows, bulls, there are goats, sheep, there are rabbits. All these animals make up the species diversity. And the last one, ecosystem diversity, is one ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem is the interaction of the organism with the environment, is known as ecosystem. So now St. Augustine School may have a different ecosystem for that instance, or even Delo can have a different ecosystem, Raleigh can have a different ecosystem, Pista can have a different ecosystem. So a region may have one particular place. The whole of Kalimpong district may have many different types of ecosystem prevailing within its biosphere. Now we move on to what is the biodiversity of India. India alone has 47,000 different types of plants and 89,451 animals have been listed to be found in India. Okay, now we will try to understand what is a hotspot then. Okay, what we will try to understand, what is a hotspot. Now, hotspot means a place where there is a huge biodiversity. Now, what does hotspot mean? Where there is a huge biodiversity. Okay, and which means to say there is a huge amount of flora and fauna. Okay, there is a huge amount of what? Flora and fauna. Now, from the entire world, scientists have proposed at least about 25 different hotspots. How many did they propose? 25. Out of the 25 hotspots, 18 has been identified by IUCN. Who identified it? IUCN. And what is the full form of IUCN? The full form of IUCN is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. I repeat again, these 18 has been identified all over the world, not only in India, all over the world. 18 hotspots has been identified by IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, out of which 2 lies in India. 2 of them lie where? It lies in India. Okay, out of the 2, where are these 2 then? Where are the 2 located? 2 hotspots, where are they located? The 2 hotspots, one is located in your Western Ghats and the other one is your Eastern Himalayan belt. Where? Eastern Himalayan belt. Now, the Eastern Himalayan belt starts right from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, okay, where Kalimpong district, or even the older form, the Darjeeling district, finds a prominent place in the Eastern Himalayan belt. Therefore, we have a huge diversity of both flora and fauna here. Understood? Now, the other point, 2 points to be called as in situ and ex situ conservation. What is in situ? What is ex situ conservation? Okay, now, when the scientists are conserving nature, are conserving the flora and the fauna of a particular place, they do it in 2 ways. Okay, one, they do it in a natural environment. In what? Natural environment. And when they do it in the natural environment, that is called in situ conservation. In situ in situ conservation. That is known as in situ conservation, or that is inside the natural habitat. Like for example, wildlife sanctuaries and national parks are in situ conservation. Okay, and in Darjeeling district, that is the older form, the Darjeeling district which we used to call it, we basically had 4 different types of in situ conservation to be known as sanctuaries and national park. In Kalimpong alone, in Kalimpong itself, we have Neora Valley National Park. Neora Valley National Park. What do we have? In situ conservation to be called as Neora Valley National Park in Kalimpong. Darjeeling, it has got 2. What are they? One is Singchel Jorpokhari Wildlife Sanctuary. That is beyond 6 mile till Jorbonglo. There is a dense forested area, and that is known as Singchel Jorpokhari Wildlife Sanctuary. And the other one is when you go to Sandakphu. When you trek to Sandakphu, you find a dense forested area, and that is known as Singalila National Park. Okay, so that makes a total of 3. And the third one, which is the fourth one, I would say, which is located where? It is located on the way to Siliguri. It is written MWLS on boards, posters. This is nothing but Mananda Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, so it makes a total of 4 different in situ conservation in our region. Then what is ex situ conservation then? What is ex situ conservation? The ex situ conservation is nothing but number 2 is ex situ. Now the earlier one was in situ. Now this is ex situ, which means outside the natural habitat in an artificial setup. And the examples of in situ, ex situ conservation would be zoo, botanical garden, or you can also say aquariums would be the example of ex situ conservation. Did you understand? In Darjeeling, Kalimpong, we don't have too many of ex situ conservation, though we have nurseries here. Nursery can also be an example of an ex situ conservation. But for Darjeeling, we have the Padmanabh Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park, the zoo, the Royal Botanical Garden that is present there in Darjeeling. These are examples of ex situ conservation. Okay, with that we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you.